Welcome back. It is always a good day when I wake up, I give thanks, and I know that today is a day that I get to introduce you to another intriguing person. I'll get to my guest in just a moment. He's one of my dearest friends, and I love him to pieces. And you are going to be very inspired or humiliated, or you never quite know what's going to come. Um, I'm so grateful. The show is growing in leaps and bounds. I just went in the back end moments ago, and we now have 17% growth since this exact time last month. So my countries that are listening, which shows me that death is indeed big business and dinner conversation, United States, obviously, Canada, Australia, Spain, the UK, New Zealand, Mexico, Ireland, Greece, and the Netherlands. So I'm just so grateful for the listens, the downloads, the shares. It's really a lot of fun for me. I know it's not always the best topic, but we peel back the layers of what is life and the next chapter, and it seems to be catching on. So thank you very much for all your listening. Terry Jaymes and I met when we were just kids. We did a morning show together in Santa Barbara, California on the renowned rock station K-Tide that's still alive and kicking. We had a show called Doing the Morning Thing. It was quickly, abundantly, clear to me that Terry had more depth than possibly the next guy in radio. He was always seeking and looking to kind of elevate his game and talk about higher consciousness. And so, of course, we gravitated toward one another and became dear friends. He tells you that he makes his living with dick jokes, with the Lex and Terry syndicated radio show. But that's not all Terry does. Terry is diving deep. Terry's just gone through another pivot. He has a brand new show called The Terry Jaymes Show. So catchy. I love that. Terry, let's talk about this because you came on the first show and you had to strip it down for everyone because you had hired a team of experts to tell you what to do and where to go with your next step in regard to you being, you're somewhat of a motivational speaker. You've been doing this for years and years through the Alive show that you used to have. So let's talk about what happened and what brought you to your now, which is the Terry Jaymes Show.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Jane. I love you more than you know. And I can't tell you how many people I've turned on to your podcast and your book.
Thank you.
And I've read your book probably 3 times now. And every time I get something more out of it. And I mean, I'm starting tearing up here thinking about this because you've shed a light on, let's face it, we're getting to an age where we're losing a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you've made me realize we're not losing them. We're not losing them. It is the most comforting thing that you've thrown to this universe. It is unbelievable. So I have thank you. And I've turned on so many different people that are going through it and know they are about to go through it. And, it's just a valuable thing you're doing. So thank you.
Wow. That's high praise. And I appreciate that. And you'll get a kick out of this whenever I come in the studio and it's my day to record, I come in, I light a candle, I throw my arms up and I talk to all those souls that have gone before me. So today, because of the Santa Barbara connection, I, of course, had to light a eucalyptus candle, which is the smell of Santa Barbara. If anybody's ever traveled there, they know the minute they get there, it's like, what is that? It's this beautiful, pungent scent of eucalyptus, wafting through the air that the Pacific Ocean is sort of pushing around Santa Barbara. And then, Terry, I thought, okay, let's get to it and let's call all those souls that were in radio that are no longer here with us that crossed our path when we were working together. So I talked to Budgie, which I have a picture of, Roger Mayer, like one of the most unbelievably cool bosses on the planet.
Absolutely.
I'm still shocked. Like, I still want to pick up the phone and call Raj.
Oh, me too. Yes.
Yeah, and
Both of those people you mentioned, unbelievable souls.
yeah, and Andrew Reimer, who,
Yes.
rescued me from a radio station that I was over after I got blown out of K-Tide the first time. Andrew called and brought me back over to K-Tide, and people literally called and said, "Where have you been?" And I was just across the street on another radio station, but K-Tide listeners are so,
Loyal.
so fan-based and loyal, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Andrew, Dr. Dale, um, my buddy Robin Caston, who was in a great band. Oh my God, and he left really early. And Bob Sen, my boss over at KTMS. And who else? Oh, and Ray Pierce, who just left
Yes.
recently. So I asked all of them to join us so that we could have some fun with the other side and the whole Santa Barbara thing. So thank you for the kind words. I'm going to shut up because I want to hear about Terry Jaymes and
Okay.
Terry Jaymes Show. So talk to me how that came to be, because I
Oh,
think
well,
this
all
is
right. I can do
important
that
lesson.
easily.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
So
Okay.
as you mentioned up front, I do a morning radio show, Lex and Terry Show. We've been doing it for 30 years. It's a total guy show. We burp and yell at each other, and that's what the show is. And that's what it's always been. But I've always wanted to do more. Like you said, I connect with people on different levels. I don't want to say a better level by any means, but it's just a different type of level. And I've always wanted to do some stuff. And I first started to do a podcast many years ago when podcasts were starting. And it was, what was it called? The Terry Jaymes Alive Show. And that quickly got picked up by a radio station. So the podcast stopped. I ended up doing it in a radio station in Seattle for a couple of years on the weekend. But I mean, I had some great guests up front. I mean, I had Richard Bach and I had Wayne Dyer, and I've had all these people that have inspired me in the past who have, like Richard Bach and I have become friends. I mean, he lives across the water here. I live in Seattle. He lives on an island out there. And, we shoot each other emails. I just can't believe it. These are the people that I worshiped and loved.
Right.
I stopped doing that, but I've always wanted to do public speaking. So as you know, podcasting's grown, everything's grown. And I decided to look at some of the people that I follow online and see who do they deal with? Who are the people? Where are they getting their advice? Where are they getting their support? Because I wanted to take it serious finally. I mean, I was doing it just to talk to people. Now I wanted to take it serious. I wanted to set myself up maybe for my next 10 years of my career or whatever. And I met with these people, met with a few different companies. But the one that I chose, I don't want to really say their name, but they represent a lot of different people that I follow online that are really big time speakers, people you would know of.
Okay.
So I got a hold of them. They said they would help me for a fee, of course. I told my wife, I said, this is something I need to do, honey. I need to take it to the next level. It's going to cost us some money. She agreed. She knows it's my passion. She said, go ahead and do it. I did it. And all they did was try to set me up for public speaking. And they didn't like my logo. They didn't like the choice of the name. They didn't like this. I gave them a couple ideas of a show. And the one that they liked the most, it was my least favorite. But I still liked it. It was my idea. So, it's not like that. But the more that I started to do this show and get advice for them, I felt like I was doing the show for them and not for myself and not for the people I want to connect with. They were just trying to set me up to be the next big thing and to learn how to, to get out up on stage and do all this. And they probably could have done it. But I would not have enjoyed it. So I had to swallow my pride and go to my wife and say that money we spent was just thrown out the window. Although I did learn a few things, I learned a few tricks, but I don't think that much money's worth. So one of the things they said was, you should come up with a show title that describes what your show is. That's what podcasting is and all that. So I decided, since I dumped them, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I'm just going to go against everything. I'm just going to be the Terry Jaymes Show. We were only a couple of shows in, and it's what the show is. It's interesting to me is because, as you know, Jane, we can pick up the phone and pick up our friendship anytime,
Right.
but throughout the day, I mean, you have your certain rituals you do, but one of my rituals is to always stay connected and to always listen for messages or see doors to open or whatever it is. And I wanted to take those moments and run in the studio and record them when they happen. So my podcast is a collection of my weekly inspirational, motivational. You talked about it. There's a little humiliation in there because I talk about, there's some jokes I try. There's some desperation because here I am, a guy desperate, just trying to find his next thing, which there's so many other people out there that are doing that. And I just have compiled these stories and I put them down. I put a little sound effect in between each little story, and there's your show. It's so fun to do right now. I'm having the time of my life doing it.
It's really good. Like
Thank you.
I was giggling. I was listening last week, and the two things that really stood out for me was the little ding
Yes.
sound effect in between, because you are covering inspiration, motivation, humiliation, and desperation, right?
Yes.
And then you have these little stories and little anecdotes, like, the smoke alarm story, and here you
Yes.
are at night naked, and you're describing it all and you're freaking out, but then you brought it back around to the reason why maybe you didn't handle it as well as you could have, is
Yes.
because you had stopped meditating.
Yes.
So let's go there. Are you meditating now,
I'm
Terry?
back, Jane.
Good.
It's weird. I started meditating and I've tried so many different ones. I paid for TM courses. I've
Oh,
gone to many, many apps. I've done it all and I just can't do it. And I finally found an app that works for me.
good.
And it explained it the way I needed it to be explained. And I did it every single day for about 2.5 years. And then for some reason, over the last couple months, whether I was busy or whatever it was, I was trying to bring up this podcast and everything else, I just didn't feel like I had time to do it.
Yeah.
And I noticed what was happening to me, like trying to change the smoke alarm. I could have killed myself. And it was just fun. I mean, I'm back to it is what I'm saying. So I did notice that. And that was one of the messages I try to get across. Not every little story I tell has a major message. Some of them are just to get something off my chest,
Sure. Yeah.
but I'm just having a really good time and the response has been fun. And, I don't know where it's going to go, but I think something's going to happen here, and I am going to leave it that way. You know me, I'm a goal-oriented person. I
Right.
write down my goals. I write down every single day what I did to achieve those goals. I've done that since I was 15 years old,
Hmm.
down to the amount of money I believe that I deserve to make. Every single thing, even when it came to the type of woman I wanted to marry, I wrote down everything that I believed that I deserved in a mate.
Right.
And so this is a new thing for me. I'm letting this hang out there.
Good.
I'm not worrying about this. I do not have a specific goal in mind. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's even more fun.
I love that. Talk about, and this is such a big buzzword, but I really believe in it, is being in the moment, being present, and being here now, because it's truly all we have. You can sit there and oh, the past, but it's gone. And the future is certainly uncertain, because
Uh,
you and I don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow morning,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
So we have to be present in what this is right now. Um, Two things. I just want to, you were talking about your manifestation and how you've manifested things, your finances, and your wife. Her name is Sherry, and I've met her, and boy, oh boy, did you manifest the perfect human being to spend your life with.
I sure did.
She's hilarious. As a matter
Yes.
of fact, I think she might be funnier than you.
Oh, she totally is.
Yeah,
Totally is. Absolutely.
yeah, she's wonderful. So
Yes.
congrats with that. The other part of the show that I love, and you're going to hear me on that because I had to let your little computer say, "Oh, do you accept that you can, he can record your voice?" Um, but I wasn't ready yet to throw down a question. You have this really cool thing that I have never heard on any other podcast. I mean, I've heard people call in and stuff, but you have this on your website, which is terryjaymes.com. You can click on a microphone down in the bottom corner and you can record a question or throw something out there, and you don't know, they're randomly coming up. So during the show, you're like, okay, and you play this person and they have a question for you, or they're telling you a story. Like the guy that you met and drank whiskey with down in the desert.
Yes.
I loved that. You
Yeah.
you now have a new fan that you randomly ran into at what? You were camping?
Yeah, we were seeing Sherry's brothers in Joshua Tree. They were at the campsite next door, and he was just a very outgoing guy. I think was some of it was enhanced.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it.
And he came over and he was just a neat guy. Everybody started talking about what they do. He's in some computer science thing or something, and something I know nothing about. And he found out what I did. He said, "I'm going to look you up when I get home." And sure enough, he did. And, went to the website, clicked on the microphone, and there you go.
Wow.
Yes.
So is anything taboo or off topic for you, or are you opening this up to anyone that wants to ask you a deep?
Anything.
Okay.
Anything.
All right,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Well, then
I don't care.
I love that. And then you haven't prepped that, correct? Or you just
You
flying by the seat
could,
of your
you could if
pants?
you wanted to, but I like scaring myself.
Mm,
That's part of the reason why I do stand-up comedy things. It's because, I mean, listen, I know I'm not going to be a big time headliner, but I like the feel of being out there and let's see what happens,
yeah.
of scaring yourself a little bit. And to me, doing live radio, and this is the only way I could take my way that I could manifest a live phone call on the show. Now, people could call that anytime they want and leave a message. I
Sure.
just won't listen to it. So it comes up on a little folder. You just click it and it plays right through my machine. And I don't know what it is. So
I
I don't
love
want
it.
to listen to it beforehand.
It's a great feature and very unique, and I was highly entertained.
Thank
Um,
you.
so do you just collect things throughout the week? So, okay, say we get done with this podcast and you go, oh, I want to do something about afterlife.
Mhm.
Would you just pop in your studio and record that segment?
Yes.
Okay.
Just record that segment. It's also on YouTube. There's a video portion of the
Oh,
show now.
good. Okay.
And so I just fire the stuff up, sit down, talk for maybe each segment's 5, 6, 7 minutes, and sometimes even shorter. I did one yesterday. It was 49 seconds. And
Oh, I'm looking forward to that
yeah,
one.
and I put it in there. I'm just, it's, it just when the inspiration hits. And as you know, inspiration can hit you anywhere.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just have to be open for it. And you were talking about feeling grounded. That's one of the things you get from feeling grounded. Your eyes are open to see inspiration and love and happiness, especially in today's age when people are just online all the time. And I'm just as guilty. I go online all the time. I need to look for things to talk about for the Lex and Terry show. I don't want to look like a fool. So
Right.
I go down those rabbit holes and I don't like it. And meditation and being grounded has allowed me to enjoy dinners with my wife more, has allowed me to do absolutely everything and to be open for inspiration. I see it everywhere I go. And it almost brings me to tears some days.
Mm.
I like yesterday, I saw a guy walking down the street and he was an older man and he had a sweater hanging off of his shoulder, and it fell down. And I saw a young child run up, grab the sweater, and run it to him because you dropped it. I see people smiling in their cars, laughing, and I wonder what they're smiling about, and it just lifts me up. I see all kinds of different things. I see people being respected at my coffee shop that I go to every day. I see people that go home from work early just so they could walk their dog, and their dog gets a walk. Then they go back to work. These are the things that inspire me. They're the everyday little things that remind me that's what life is. That's what it is to be alive. Instead
Right.
of chasing a goal all day long, which I have been doing for, I don't know, 7,500 years.
Mm,
And it's just crazy.
yeah. Well, what I'm hearing from you is being in that space of open awareness and gratitude. And goodness sakes, we sure need that right now. If you wanted to, and you and I both know this because we're in media, you could certainly end up on the dark side of everything
Well,
because
it's a choice.
it is a choice.
And it's
And
a choice a lot of people are making for their career to better. They think it's bettering their career by I'm going to go ahead and play in this game that's toxic and
yeah,
lie and not add value to people's lives. You're just adding value to your notoriety and your bank account.
right.
I could easily do that stuff. I know I could. I am a trained shock jock. I could take the heat. I could take the hate online. I could fight with people all day long, but I just don't want to do that. So you're stuck with me trying to do this.
Good. You know what I will say, that I have noticed with you because I've been with you for the whole Lex and Terry thing. I was there. You and Lex met at a party, same party that I met my husband at.
That was a magical day.
Yeah, in Marina Del Rey.
Yep.
And speaking like Raj and Budge were at that party. But what I have noticed, and I've listened to the Lex and Terry show, and I've gotten a kick out of it. I mean, I like to get raunchy just like the next gal.
Mhm.
Not always, but sometimes it just tickles my funny bone.
Yes.
But what I have found with your Lex and Terry listeners is that there are those listeners that love what you're doing there. But then you've got this collection of individuals that really want you to go where you're going now.
Mhm.
And they want you to do that. And they're really interested in that portion of it. So it's not all about, the dick jokes like you're talking about.
No, it's not. But once again, that was a fear that I had to step through because I knew that if I was going to talk about love, going to talk about being true to yourself and others and all that, I knew that people were going to go, wait a minute, this isn't that guy on the Lex and Terry show. And I did get some hate. I got a lot of heat for it. Still do. Still do. But I was amazed at how many guys I would see on a comment on social media. There's like one guy in particular I remember stands out. He's a guy, and in his image that he has of himself online, he's in his truck, got guns in his gun rack. He's wearing camo. He's got the whole thing, flags in the back of his truck. And I'm going, okay, here comes a hate one. And I look at it, it's like, I really love the positivity you're throwing out in the world, man.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
it's good.
Yeah, that is good. And it is a pivot. And I'm so glad you brought up, that you can at any point go down that rabbit hole and you can find that negativity or you can shake it off. And I've seen you and you don't hide from the so-called trolls
Oh, no.
that are out there. And you know what? Some people are just hiding in their mom's basement and have no life. And that's how they get their worth by trying to attack and bring other people down
Mhm.
that are having a good ride. And you're having a great ride. You got a good life.
Oh, absolutely. And they don't want you to. I understand that. I mean, Like you said, sometimes I don't back down. Sometimes I'm up for a good fight because I know that uh, I can be really mean when I want to.
Really?
And I could really hurt people when I want to hurt them.
Wow. I
And
don't
it's
see
a
that.
horrible thing to know. And it's a
Hmm.
horrible power to have and to use. And sometimes I hate to say it, Jane, I will really hurt somebody on purpose that has come after me. But for the most part, 90, and that's a horrible thing to say, but I will say this 95% of the time, I really just kind of close my eyes when I see that and I kind of smile and go, wow, your existence is firing some people up, and just keep it to myself. I just got a real bad hate one today that I did that exact thing too. I was just like, good for you. Sorry you had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to email me. That's how much I was on your mind.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've done some things that I go, did you really have to do that? And then I have to think about it and go, yeah, I did. You know what? That person deserved it. That person deserved everything they got and probably even a little more.
Hmm. Well, I think too, it's about speaking your truth. And a lot of times if we stuff that down, it's gonna manifest. It's gonna ooze out of us somewhere or somehow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's where meditation and being present has really helped me. It's helped me with those moments. It's helped me with those moments not take their bait. But and I don't take it right away. I'll go back and look at it. I'll reread it. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe this, maybe that, or just delete it. But if I do go back and read it and it still affects me, you're going to hear from me.
Yeah.
You're going to hear from me. How dare you?
You know what, though? I think that is a lot of your charm, because we do know you have an elevated thought and you're going for higher consciousness and you're trying to open us up into inspiration and motivation. And you're looking for the little kid picking up the guy's sweater. You're looking for the person that sticks $100 bill in a tip jar at your local coffee shop.
Yep.
You're always in those moments of awareness. What about your writing? Because we've talked about this before, and I got to keep poking you because I feel as though it's there, that you have this book in you, whether you call it the Terry Jaymes book, which I love because it's the Terry Jaymes Show. The next thing is the Terry Jaymes book. Are you still writing a lot?
I do. I take time out of my day every single day to write probably about 45 minutes to an hour every day.
Good. Love it.
Sometimes it's not really. I don't have a at this current time. I've had many books in mind, but at this current time, I do not have anything in mind right now. I've been so excited about this, what I'm doing, the podcast, and I have spread myself thin in the past. And I'm just trying to get a little more focus and spend the right amount of time on everything that I do. That includes spending time with loved ones who don't have a lot of time left.
Mm.
That include all that stuff. These are what my priorities are right now. And I think that because of this, I'm doing better work, less work, but I'm doing better work.
I love that. So Lex and Terry, still on a path. You signed a new contract, still going strong.
Yeah, we signed a new deal that started in January for another, I think it's 3 years.
Good.
I didn't think I would be signing this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Why is
I
that?
I, I just didn't think that we would be wanted. I just didn't think that I thought the industry had changed, everything else, but no, they still going strong,
Yeah.
so and it's I don't like waking up the hours I wake up, but I just love laughing in the morning. And that's the way I look at it. You're hanging around with some degenerates and you're laughing and having some fun.
Yeah. You've got
And
it's a good crew.
it's just good to laugh. It's good to
Yeah.
laugh every day.
It is good to laugh every day.
Yeah.
So how is your health? Like, do you feel like, I know this is an off the wall question, but do you feel like you have a lot of time left, or are you in with my profession every day, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm here. Literally, I take stock of that daily, because
Do
I'm
you-
around death all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I did when I was 30.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't really look, obviously age is there. You hear it from the listeners. I hear it from my knee. But for the most part, I feel just as energetic, just as motivated, and just as talented, or even more so, ready for the next challenge than anything else. I do not have a retirement in mind at all. But I also I'm not afraid of it. If the time came and they said they didn't want us, I would piddle around with something. But I think financially right now I'm okay.
Yeah.
I think I could get by with retiring possibly. I don't know. I don't think of money at all. I don't know how much money we have in the bank. It's not the way I manifest it.
Yeah.
So I think if you think about it too much, it puts a lot of fear, and it shows you how much you don't have. And
Mm,
my way of manifesting is believing that I own everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a big, strong word, the word fear. So many
Yes.
people are living in that space, and I hear it all the time. Like, "Oh, I can't retire," or "I'm gonna work until I drop dead," or "Ah, ba 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 ba."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Huh," you know, I just feel like you're missing the point of why we're here. I think we're here to enjoy and engage and look around and love those flowers that are blooming everywhere in
Sure.
California right now.
Sure. I
Yeah,
believe that too. But when you do something that you love, something that really touches your soul, which I do, I, that's part of it to me. That's
right.
absolutely. But if I was doing a job that I didn't enjoy, I wouldn't be doing that job anymore. You're right
No,
about that.
right.
So yeah, and you talked about health. I guess I'm very lucky, and I go to the doctor all the time. I get my checkups. My vitals are unbelievable. They say, I have history in my family of heart attacks, and my heart's good. I'm knocking on wood here. I have one prescription pill to my name, and that is Ambien to take whenever I want to sleep at night. An extra. That is it. That I don't have. Everything is good. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of hair. My teeth are straight. I'm sounding
That's
like we're 1,000 years old. I'm
I know.
62 years old, for
Isn't
Christ's
that
sake.
funny?
Yeah,
It's usually my first question when a girlfriend of mine will start dating someone. I say, "Does he have hair and does he have teeth?"
there
It's
you go.
it's funny, but those are the 2 things,
And a
and you
job.
do. Yeah, and a job is
And
nice
for
too.
some reason, height. I don't know what that. I'm lucky enough to be blessed with a little bit of tallness on me too. So
Yeah. Yeah, you got
yeah,
that basketball height. Are you still
yeah.
playing ball?
Oh God, no.
No. The knee?
I will go out and shoot a baskets every once in a while, just kind of shoot around, but I am not, no, I'm not going to play in any men's league. That's why my knee blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's okay though. You walk all over the city, and I like your perspective of Seattle too. You take some really cool pictures of that city, and you post wonderful things. Um, so the Terry James Show, you're a couple shows in. Are you posting weekly? Is that what your intention is?
Well, it hit me last night. I was inspired in the middle of the night last night to get up and write something down. I believe, and right now I'm just posting it every Thursday, and the
Okay.
shows are anywhere from, so far they've been 30 to 45 minutes. And it hit me that I think I'm going to try something on Sunday night. I think I might do a live show on
Mm,
Instagram or Facebook. I wasn't going to say that to anybody, but I don't think this is going to post before I do it. So I would have done it by now, but I'm going to do it. It's almost going to be like a little church thing. I have a couple things I want to say, and I just want to, show some thankfulness, get people fired up for the week ahead. And I might try that, see what happens. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said about this, I'm just going to try anything. One thing I've learned in any job that I've had, including the one that I've been doing for 30 years, that's not the same show that it was 30 years ago. We
Right.
all grow, and we all, if you're doing it right, you change, you just adapt in some cases. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see where this takes me. And any idea I have, I'm gonna try. I don't care what people say or don't say. I'm just gonna try.
This is it. This is really, I think, the culmination of all of your efforts and where you've been in the past. And I can hear it, and I know you well enough to know that the fact that you're just going to take the lid off and just go for it, and bring us whatever type of inspiration or motivation, or even those humiliating moments or those moments of desperation in your life.
Mhm.
I love the realness of that. And I really think it's going to resonate with not only your following, but your new following. That's why I wanted to have you on the show
Well,
because,
I
you know,
appreciate it. And I'm not for everybody. I understand that.
oh,
I have a little bit of salty language. I have a little bit, a little that, and I'm just me. I'm just
yeah,
me. And I love hanging around other people who inspire me. I mean, we talked about back in the K-Tide days, you talk about the people who are no longer with us. That still is the most magical time of my life. Those people, I was inspired by every single person there.
oh yeah,
Everybody had their own gifts, their own talents, and everybody was so kind and so sharing and so supportive. I've never seen anything like that anywhere else.
hmm. Yeah. I think that's why we're both so connected with it still to this day. You know,
Yeah, we're
I mean,
very lucky.
yeah, we really are. I have so many friends up there that, fortunately for them, they were a lot smarter than I, and they got a hold of some real estate. I was too busy buying people drinks, Terry.
Yeah. Hey, I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
But it's such a beautiful, wonderful part of the planet, and good people, still really good, wonderful people that are up there. So it was fun doing a show with you back in the day too. And I appreciate the fact that, after I wrote The Next Room with Mom and everything, and you and Lex invited me to come on, Lex and Terry, which, everybody was like, really? Are you sure you want to expose yourself to that? They might say something really mean or stupid. And I'm like, no, I trust these guys. And, what a bump in sales. I mean, and that for an independent author, you don't, the book is there, right? And you sell a couple here and there. But you guys, it was really fun. Like your audience really got it. Um,
Well, everybody needs to get what you're doing.
well, I don't know.
Everybody does. And I'm not joking. I have got so much comfort from your work and what you've
Mhm.
dedicated your life to. Even though I don't tell you that or show it as much as I probably should, I think about it a lot, and you've given me a different perspective of how to look at things
Hmm.
and how to deal with a loss and and all that it's not really a loss, and that it could be just as magical as life itself. And that all comes from you.
Hmm.
And that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go yet. I'm
Yeah, me
not ready
neither.
for loved ones to go, but it's going to happen. And we'll see.
Yeah.
You kind of deal with it when it happens, but I believe that I'm more prepared now than most people are because of what you're doing and talking to you.
Thank you.
You're
Wasn't
welcome.
fishing for a compliment, but
Well,
bring it on.
I just want to stress. I know people are here because of your show. They know what you do, but damn it, it's good.
Okay, so since you opened the door, what do you hope, think, know, wish will be waiting when that time comes, hopefully when you're 103 in the next room?
Like I said, I haven't put a lot of thought to that at all. I don't I don't think about it. And I don't know what to believe just yet
Mm,
because spiritually I'm a free agent right now. I think that these people, these quote unquote people that are very claim to be religious are the ones that are causing most of the problems right now.
Mm.
And I just have I have a real strong problem with it. Just like we talked about when I get a hate email or something like that. When I see people posting just mean stuff or lies, things like that, I have this urge to want to reach out and tell them that they're morons, but I just let it go. So spiritually, I have a hard time right now with where I'm going to be. I hope that I will be just comfortable. I hope I'm going to be one of the lucky people that is going to be comfortable.
Mm.
And I hope that to the very last breath, I remain grateful for living in this time with these people and being able to share what I'm sharing. I don't know if I'd be equipped for what's going to be 20 years down the road, what this world's going to look like. I definitely wouldn't have been equipped for my brothers or even my parents' age. I see what they went through, and it's like, how did they do that? You know, I guess I feel like I got the easy time slot in life.
You got the midday slot.
Yeah, I got the midday slot. I could sleep in. I'm home to watch all the shows. You know,
Yeah.
everything's good.
Piece of cake. You can still go hit the bar at night and still
Yeah.
make it in by 10. Of
Yeah.
course, I didn't always make it in. Oh my God. How many times did I get the call from you? Are you coming in to do the show today?
I remember one night, it was so
Oh,
funny. Walking down State Street in Santa Barbara, and I was with a date. I was this Christy girl. I don't know if you remember Christy at all, but I was with Christy. And we were walking, and I had just told her, I need to get home and go to bed. I have to go to bed. Got to work in the morning. She was like, all right, you party pooper thing. And I look over into, I think it was, I don't know, was it, what's across the street from Joe's? What was that
Alex's Cantina.
Alex's Cantina.
I
And
lived there.
I see you standing on the bar at Alex's Cantina.
Yep.
And I just smiled and went, well, all right, there you go. At least one of us will be there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Joey, who manages Joe's Cafe now, love
Uh-huh.
Joey. He was the manager of Alex's back in the day, and I always make jokes about it that I still have a hell of a bar tab because I never paid for anything. The
Oh man.
entire 7 years I lived in that town, I'd walk into Alex's and it was like my margarita was just sliding across the bar. It was so great. Wow, what a good time. Well,
Absolutely.
I have grown up a little bit. You'll be happy to know that if I make it past 10 o'clock, it's a miracle. My husband basically records his Laker games. He's like, she'll go to bed. I'll stay up and watch it after you go to bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we all grow up. Okay, so the Terry Jaymes Show, and you have Gang of Two, which is hilarious. It's you and
Yes.
Sherry, and you do a show about a couple of dumbs. But it's
Yes.
really cool that it developed like this. I don't think that you realized at the time that you could do this podcast with your wife and it would turn into be a lot of comedy.
I knew the podcast. I wanted to record something with Sherry because, like you said earlier, she's hilarious, and
She
she
is.
just doesn't know how funny she is, and not in a ditzy way.
No, very
She's
dry.
hilarious in a very smart, funny
Mm-hmm.
way, thoughtful,
Mm-hmm.
funny way. But she has no desire to do what I've done. She has no desire to be on a microphone, none. And I asked her for well over 2 years, come on in here and record something with me. One day I said, just roll the chair in here. And I had the tape going, and I just started asking her questions. We started talking about things, and people loved it. And then I
Yeah.
had to approach her and say, would you still do this? She still does not like doing it.
It's hilarious to hear her roll the chair in the studio too. Because she's still,
Reluctantly.
yeah, she just still like, here I am,
Yeah.
she rolls in. But it's cool too, because it shows that a husband and wife can kind of pick through disagreements. They can pick through things that irritate one another, and still find the juicy, fun parts, the laughter and the respect, because there's obviously a deep respect that you have for one another.
No, you're absolutely right. And I just it's another thing that I'm so happy that I'm able to do with her. It's a great experience. We're having fun. And it gets a lot of downloads. So she's stuck doing it for now.
I love it.
And
Um,
yeah, it's great. And you talked about at the end of the road here, and that's the one person that I really hope that I told her that I hope she dies 15 minutes before me,
mm,
you know, and that's it. That's kind of a goal, that not a goal, but it's a dream.
yeah.
I don't want her to die alone.
Mm,
And I want to be there, and then 20 seconds later, "Oh, okay, I'm ready."
wow.
So
Okay. Remember when I told you earlier that I had been welling up a lot? I've been very emotional. You just did it. That's really beautiful.
well, thank you.
Wow, that's good. Nobody has said that on the show before. Um, I will put all the links to Gang of Two, the Terry Jaymes Show, Lex and Terry, everything on the show page, and obviously your YouTube, because people love watching podcasts for some reason. I
I
mean, you
don't
just
understand it at all. I
I
don't
don't either.
understand. Why would you
Yeah.
want to watch me talk? It's not like I've got cleavage or anything.
Right, exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
People love it. I've got a listener. As a matter of fact, she gave me this beautiful crystal,
Oh,
Callista,
beautiful.
down in Melbourne. And she's a massive fan, and she signs up, and literally at midnight here, so it's God knows what, it's a whole day ahead and 17 hours in Melbourne. She's watching the show. She goes to bed watching the show. So
Absolutely.
so shout out to Callista, because she keeps wanting me to bring the show down under, because I have a big
You
following in
should.
Australia. Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
You
Thinking
should.
about
And
packing
it's
the mic up. Yeah.
and you could actually call her, and you could actually call it Melbourne now, like she does.
Oh yeah, probably
I
Melbourne.
lived in Brisbane for a while, so I know.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that side. Okay, so wrapping it up and in closing, because I've kept you longer than I anticipated. Is there a final thought or final thoughts that you would like to leave with the Next Room listeners?
Oh boy. We talked a lot about remaining in the moment, and I really believe that this is something I've been able to do. Like, it's part of my practice now. It's not even practice, it comes natural now. Is put the phone away, spend time with your loved ones, tell them you love them, and above all, feel the love. Just like I talked about how you could recognize motivation or inspiration anywhere, you can also feel the love from people. Every time I talk to you, I feel the love. Anytime I talk to I've got a couple of family members who are just big fans of mine, and I feel how much they love me. And and I hope that I'm able to give it back to them in the way that I feel it from them. And with my wife, we're going to be married 30 years coming up, and on the 16th, and it's we have it, like we talked about, that we don't have hardly any problems. We don't have any, big knockdown, drag out fights, no longer disagreements. It's pretty good. And
Wow.
I'm very, very lucky. And I feel that love too. And and one of the ways I make sure that I feel the love with her is that every night we ask each other something in bed.
Mhm.
And and it's usually along the lines of that. I'll say, "Did I show you how much I loved you today?"
Mm.
And she'll say, "Absolutely, you did. Here's what you did." It could be something very simple, like, whatever. But there's little questions we have with each other like that. We'll fill each other's head with a dream at night. We'll say, "Okay, where are we going in our dream tonight?" And
Mm.
she'll say something, or, "Let's go to Tahiti," or whatever. It's just, we just end on such a high note. And if you could just end your day on a high note and wake up in the morning and just keep that ball rolling, before you know it, it's time to go to bed again, and you've been happy all day long. So,
Perfect. Wow. I love it. You're tuning in.
yeah.
Speaking of tuning in, the Terry Jaymes Show, brand new podcast for you to enjoy and love. And you go to terryjames.com, Click on the little microphone, ask them a question, especially after you've been listening to this brilliant friend of mine and his thoughts about gratitude. Wow, Terry, you've always lived in that space, but I'm really, really feeling it kind of just palpitate off of your body. So please follow the show, and if you want to hear a really fun show with a husband and wife, please, Gang of Two is another one that you should
Thank
register
you.
for. Yeah, those are fun shows. And if you like dick jokes, hey, Lex and Terry,
Hey, I
you
got it
guys.
covered. There's
Yeah.
way too much of me out there, is what I've just learned.
I love it. Well, thanks again for coming on the show and just giving me your time. Time is such a precious commodity, and to give someone your time is really a true gift.
Oh,
Being
thank
present.
you. I,
So
I I love this, and I love you, and I love what you're doing.
thank
Great
you so
to,
much.
so happy to be a part of it. Honored.
Awesome. Thanks again for tuning in to the next room. I'll be back again next week. Jody Levon will be on the show. Jody is a psychic from Minneapolis and just brilliant and talented. And she recently went through a really big cancer scare and came out smiling. So you're really going to dig her story. So I'll talk to Jody next week. Until then, thank you. Stay safe. And above all, just wake up and give thanks. It's really important. Thanks again for tuning in.